Muskegon channel. It's Andy O'Reilly. Today I am down at the Muskegon Museum of Art, and I don't really even know how to start this one. Do we start off as two guys that have known each other for 30 years, or we talk about Paul Jendrasiak, the artist? Do we talk about the shows that we were all at together? What do we talk about, man?
Well, we talk about everything, and thanks for being one of the first people to be here to see
Exciting.
Lights, Camera, Rock and Roll.
Very cool.
It's kind of fitting because we have known each other for 30 years.
30 years.
Going back to both being board ops at KLQ.
KLQ. Let me reset it for the people out there. Paul and I have gone back to my earliest days in radio. We both worked at KLQ way back when. Paul took off and has been a photographer and a writer and everything else along these. Right? Am I right?
Yeah. That was one of my lives.
We both wrote for the Music Review for a little while.
Yes.
We'd share articles and things like that. And Paul is opening an exhibit here at the Muskegon Museum of Art called Lights, Camera, Rock and Roll. Is that right?
Yep. Opens Thursday, the 23rd of May.
Pretty exciting.
Reception at 5:30, free to attend. And but yeah, like I mentioned, some of these shows, like we got James Hetfield right here. L.C. Walker Arena, 1991.
I remember the hangover.
Yeah, well.
I remember that hangover because it lasted for 3 days. And, back then, they called them Alcoholica.
Right.
And I found out why.
Right.
It was such a great night.
Yeah.
I was 21, man.
Well, that was kind of a homecoming show because Jason Newsted was the bass player in the band at the time. And as you'd mentioned to me earlier before we got rolling, that whole show was on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, that was kind of at the beginning of Metallica's Climb, the Black album.
Big time.
Came out, I think it wrestled with Garth Brooks' album for the #1 position in Billboard.
Yeah.
And then this was probably maybe the 4th night of the tour.
Something like
that. And it's one of those epic shows for this area.
And I'll tell you another thing that nobody really knows about that show. That show in 1991 with Metallica at L.C. Walker Arena, they sold over $80,000 in T-shirts alone at that show that night.
Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing.
And you got to remember, it's 1991, so they're like $20 a piece back then.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So let's get on to this amazing exhibit. Every one of these pictures has got a memory attached to it for me. How about you?
Well, most definitely. This represents about 30 years of photography. I started shooting pictures when I was 18 years old for Music Review, which is now Review. So from 90 to 93, I was shooting concerts, and that period, it was all film stuff. So you've got early Pearl Jam. Nobody knew who Pearl Jam was. They opened for Smashing Pumpkins and the Chili Peppers. A week later, they're all over the place. And you got, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, Coco Taylor, you've got Anthony Kiedis from the Chili Peppers from that show with Smashing Pumpkins and Pearl Jam, and then, getting into the newer stuff that I started photographing again in 2010 for grnow.com. That's all digital stuff, so it's kind of night and day as far as the format of the photography and what I shot, but it's all very eclectic, just like my taste in music. So you've got stuff that resonates with me because I grew up on hair metal, as you probably did too.
Still do.
Yes.
I know.
And I look back at the early '90s. That was a real transition period because hair metal was king in almost, and maybe you'll agree with this, within 1 week, there was a change into the guard.
It wasn't even a week.
Yeah.
It was overnight.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. And you could go back to, I think it was Warrant that talked about it.
Exactly.
One day in Warner Brothers, it was all Warrant everywhere. All you saw was Cherry Pie, and the next day, it was all gone.
Yeah, it was Alice in Chains.
Yep, just like that.
And, it was just hair today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the way it worked. Like both of us, right? Memories that, through this whole display, talk about some of your favorite memories of some of these pictures.
Well, going back to the Pearl Jam,
Yeah.
I remember State Theater, Kalamazoo, 1991, waiting for this band to come out. I didn't know who Pearl Jam was, and I'm pretty sure that most of the people in the audience
Nobody
didn't.
did.
And I could just feel how damp and cold it was standing there side stage holding my camera. And they took the stage, and it's one of those things you instinctively know this band they're destined for something.
Yep.
Eddie Vedder had such a command. That band really was on top of things, and later in their set, it was a very short set, he's climbing the walls of the State Theater. Unfortunately, I burned through the film that I had. I mean, if it was digital, then,
Right.
There's no shortage of
Right.
what you can shoot. So that Pearl Jam show is definitely very special to me. The Metallica show as well, because that was just such an intense show, and one of the biggest shows I think for the area for that time period, 1991.
It was unbelievable.
Pantera is also one that comes to mind. Dimebag Darrell, and so many people love him today.
Yeah. And Vinny.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I look back at those slides, and it occurs to me that I was actually on stage with Pantera,
Yeah.
which, to put it in perspective, is pretty crazy. I mean, the band was intense, the crowd was intense, and I don't know if I'd be cut out for that today, or maybe I'd be up in my life insurance policy.
I'm the same way, man. I look back over the last 30 years and some of the experiences that we've had and some of the stories we can tell.
Oh yeah.
You can't put a price tag on it.
No,
You know what I mean? But
can't.
you can bring them all back to life with these great photographs in here.
Well, what's interesting is I quit shooting photos in '93.
Okay. Why?
I just, you change interests in
Sure.
life, and but to back up, in '90 I got into doing interviews because I figured I wasn't going to be a guitar hero,
Right.
and that was actually you play guitar, not the video game. And I thought it'd be fun to interview rock stars.
Sure.
And I called up my friend, now of 30 years. We've got that group, where we can say we've known this person
Sure.
for 30 years. I don't know whether that's good or bad anymore. It's hard to believe.
Hey, we survived it, man.
I
think
know,
that's
we're
good.
survivors. And I said, I'd get you an interview with Gene Simmons of Kiss. And I was 18, just a few days out of high school. And I didn't have any experience. I didn't have any contacts. I managed to get an interview with Gene Simmons of Kiss. And so I started out doing interviews, and I ended up at these shows. And I always enjoyed the photography in these magazines like Circus and Hit Parade
Sure.
or Rip Magazine. And a lot of these photographers I idolized. I thought, well, I'd like to try shooting pictures too.
Yeah.
So I got into shooting stuff. And it was expensive, when you're 18, 19 years old, because you have to pay for the film,
Sure.
you have to pay for the developing, and I just got kind of burned out on that. And I then went on to become the editor of Music Review and did that until '96. But all this stuff that was on film or slide sat in my garage for almost 20 years,
Ain't that something?
unseen. And going through that stuff starting in 2012, there's stuff I didn't even remember
Yeah.
shooting. And as I joked with you before we started rolling, I wish I could chalk it up to drugs and alcohol, but I was a straight-laced kid.
Right.
I go to these shows, hang out with a few people, shoot the show, drop my film off and go home and go to sleep.
Yep.
There was no big partying backstage or anything. I was a very serious young man about that stuff. But it's fun to see that stuff, and it's a great honor, and I'm humbled that the Muskegon Museum of Art would want to show off the body of work that I've created over
Sure.
the last 30 years.
It's a great buy. I mean, to walk through here and get an exclusive first peek, amazing. The memories for me that came flooding back are incredible. And, just the path that we've both been down.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just been fantastic. This opens when?
This opens Thursday, May 23rd,
Okay.
5:30 p.m., doing a reception that's free to the public.
Cool.
So if you're a fan of music, I'm betting a lot of people have been to these shows.
Yeah.
You know, love to have you come on out, love to talk music with folks, and then at about 7, down in the auditorium, I'm going to be doing a talk about music photography and talking about in depth about some of these pictures. So love to extend an invitation to all of your viewers.
Yeah, great time to be had. It's just stunning to see all these memories. I mean, Alice Cooper here, Aerosmith over there. Did I ever tell you the Aerosmith story?
I did not hear that.
We did the up close and personal. Do you remember when we did that at the Bob with Aerosmith at LAB?
Yeah.
So Aerosmith is coming in, and at the time I had the brush cut going.
Oh yeah.
Steven Tyler looks at me and he goes, and I'm like, what? And he goes, I had my hair cut like that for years. He goes, can I just feel the back of your head? And I'm literally looking at Steven Tyler like, you want to do what? And he just wanted to feel that velvety feel. So I'm like, yeah, okay. And Steven Tyler's like rubbing the back of my head.
When Steven Tyler asked for such
Dude, what do you do?
Right.
Get down here and check it out. It's lights, camera, rock and roll. It is at the Muskegon Museum of Art. My dear friend Paul Jendrasiak. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes today.
Hey, thank you so much, Andy.
I wish you the best on the show. Get out here and see the talk. It's going to be great. And hey, support the Museum of Art. It's huge. And if you want some rock and roll, it's right here. All the details will be linked up on the Muskegon channel.